Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to look at Daredevil's fantastic appearance in She-Hulk Episode 8. Now, if you haven't seen the episode yet, I do recommend watching it first, as there will be spoilers. But assuming you've seen it, then let's dive right in and talk about the awesome appearance of Daredevil in She-Hulk Episode 8. Now, honestly, right from the beginning, he makes the perfect entrance. I mean, he's representing Luke Jacobson, the superhero costume maker, in court, and opposing Jen Walters herself. Now, you kind of wondered, it's Jen's show? Is maybe they're going to make it so she wins? No, he runs circles around her, throws out some fantastic legal arguments. The jargon was amazing. It really felt like some of the episodes from the Netflix series where he was in court. It was just awesome. Awesome. Also, it made me just kind of feel better, I guess, about the situation where Melvin Potter isn't the one making his costume. In Daredevil Season 3, he was arrested, and if he's even out of jail yet, then he certainly isn't going to want to be making costumes anymore. So, by the end of this episode, I was fine that Daredevil was working with and even legally representing Luke Jacobson, who was making his costumes. So, it all works out. It works out good. I also liked the fact that the Sokovia Accords were not only mentioned, but it was explained that they've been repealed. Now, in WandaVision, you might remember, Jimmy Woo makes a reference to the Accords, saying that if Wanda had truly stolen Vision's body, which she didn't, Haywood was lying, but nonetheless, if she did truly steal his body, that would break the Accords. So at least at the time of WandaVision, which is right after Endgame, the Accords were still in place. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there was an Easter egg about the Accords. Doesn't really tell us if they're still in place or not, but at least they were brought up again. So we really didn't know, are they in effect or not? And honestly, it makes sense that they're not, because I don't know that She-Hulk could walk around being She-Hulk if the Accords were still in place, right? It'd be a violation. So kind of nice to know once and for all that they are gone. I'm hoping maybe in Captain America New World Order or somewhere down the line we'll get an explanation of just how much that's affected the world, that now superheroes can, be superheroes again. But nonetheless, we got our answer, and that was great. But back to Daredevil, I love the fact that his history and his powers were very consistent with the Netflix series. I mean, they made several references that just made you feel like, yeah, this is the same guy, that Marvel really understands what we liked about Daredevil, and they want it to continue. So throughout the episode, we learned he's from New York, that he runs his practice in Hell's Kitchen, that he does mostly pro bono work. I mean, we even got the Netflix theme music. I mean, all of these are so consistent, obviously, with how he was portrayed in the Netflix show. But they play the theme music, for crying out loud. At one point, he mentions that Leapfrog is lying, but don't ask how I know. And then later, of course, he does bring up that he can hear heartbeats, including Jen's. He's able to smell the jet fuel and realize that the wrong fuel was put in Leapfrog's costume. She-Hulk's clap, which was awesome, by the way, but her clap impairs his radar sense, as a reminder that that's how he's doing all these things. He keeps his identity secret. He's got his retractable billy club. I love even just like the goons versus henchmen comment. That's so Matt Murdock to actually sit down and explain the difference between a goon and a henchman. I love it. And then, of course, we got the hallway fight. You got to have a hallway fight. I mean, nothing will be as epic as Daredevil Season 1's hallway fight. But hey, it was a dimly lit hallway, and he was kicking a bunch of goons' butts. So you got to love it, right? So again, this was, to me, Marvel saying, hey, have confidence. We know what you like about this character, and we're going to make sure that you enjoy his upcoming series, Born Again. So it made me really confident and excited that that was going to be a good series. I will point out, however, there were a few changes thrown in that are definitely worth noting. His costume color change is obvious, right? It's an obvious change, but there may be a message in that. So we have to figure this out. I mean, in Daredevil's comic, way back in the beginning, for the first, I believe, 6 issues, but also in his appearance in Spider-Man's comic, he was wearing the yellow costume, yellow and black. So if you consider the fact that that was Daredevil's first appearance and he was wearing yellow, you got to wonder, is this Marvel trying to give us the little hint that, Daredevil Seasons 1 through 3 aren't canon and that this is his first appearance? Or is it a fun little reference to the fact that it's his first appearance as a Marvel entity, but that, Netflix series still happened, And so we're going to make a little nod towards his costume in the comics. It's just hard to know, but it is interesting that it could be trying to say this is his true first appearance, especially when you throw in that She-Hulk didn't know who Daredevil is. She like didn't recognize him, didn't have any clue. Now, there's reasons that could be. You know, maybe she just didn't pay attention to different superheroes, right? Or maybe the fact that Daredevil's a street-level hero, he doesn't get a lot of news media. He doesn't want a lot of news media. So he's not like the Avengers where they know them all by name. But still, it's interesting that she didn't know who he was. Could that be another hint that this is his first appearance in the MCU? And that, again, the Netflix shows are not canon. And then it is interesting, I certainly hope he's not dating Karen Page right now, because it was cute how they hooked up, Jen and Daredevil, but I would hope he wouldn't do that if he was dating Karen Page. So that doesn't mean we won't see Karen Page in the Born Again series. I hope we do. She was fantastic. Just, I'm assuming they're not dating right now is all. But, you know, you take all three of these things and then you go back and you look at the quote that Charlie Cox gave a little while ago when he was interviewed by Extra. And you've probably seen this before, and I mentioned it in an earlier video. But again, he's saying, hey, the feeling is that the title is Born Again and that it's going to be something new, a new beginning. It's going to be different, tonally different, new stories, new ideas, that it's, Kevin Feige himself said it's a season 1, not a season 4. It's a whole new thing, which is the right way to do it. If you're going to do it again, let's do it differently. So, you know, I really think Marvel is dancing around whether or not Netflix is canon. And they're probably smart to, right? They don't want to come out and say whether yes or no. Eventually, we're going to figure it out because eventually they're either going to make references to seasons 1 through 3 or they're going to make contradictions to seasons 1 through 3. I can't believe they can keep this up forever. But it's just interesting that his appearance in She-Hulk showed us, number one, it's the same character, but number two, it might be a new beginning for that same character. So anyway, we'll see, right? Well, a couple other quick, fun Easter eggs in the series, or in the episode. Todd mentions getting a hold of a vibranium spear from Wakanda. And that's interesting for a couple reasons. Number one, he mentions that he studied abroad in Wakanda, which is cool because that likely would happen once Wakanda opened itself up to the world after Black Panther, that people would want to go study there. But also the fact that he got a hold of a vibranium spear and they wanted it back. It's kind of another hint towards what we're going to see in Wakanda Forever, where everybody's trying to get a hold of their vibranium and they're trying to protect it naturally. But I'd suspect that he can't give it back even if he has to, because he's probably melted it down into those needles that we saw earlier in the series. So be interesting to see where this all goes, but I thought all the Wakanda Easter eggs were fun. There was also a little Easter egg about Rogers the Musical, which shows that this is likely happening after Hawkeye. So therefore in 2025, just like Disney Plus has it in their timeline. And there was also a little tease of the Red Hulk when Jen mentioned the Red Hulk. And I think we're all figuring out this is where this is going, right? They're going to get a hold of her blood, and they're going to make at least one more Hulk, maybe multiple, but certainly the Red Hulk will be appearing. So that was all pretty fun. But anyway, back to Daredevil one last time. I just want to close this video by saying I am so excited for Daredevil Born Again. Whether or not we have any idea if it's actually going to be the Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 are canon or not, I don't know that I even care anymore. I just love the fact that they have shown they understand this character and they're going to do a good job with him. So let me know what you think. Do you think that this appearance gave us any more indication of whether Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 are canon? Do you even care? And are you all the more excited for Daredevil Born Again? Like the video if you don't mind. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more videos. And let's all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, ever-expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe.